Welcome to ZIMS Podcast. I'm Jamie Meyer, the communications guy here at ISIS, and this podcast features an interview with Elizabeth Hunt, ISIS Director of Training and Technical Support. Now, Elizabeth is one of the ZIMS project leaders who has that rare mixture of IT experience and zoo experience. That's a mixture that we have found is absolutely essential to developing ZIMS properly. Here's Elizabeth in the formal, acceptable company photo, but I think this picture kind of shows her a little bit truer to her real style. And this one. But don't let anyone know that I showed you these photos. ZIMS is being developed in what are called sprints, short, high-intensity bursts of development. Each sprint is about 6 weeks long, and it results in a working piece of software at the end of the sprint. Right now, the execution phase of Sprint 1 has just finished up, and we're heading into the testing phase. The execution phase is where the developers actually write the code for the ZIMS screens. And in Sprint 1, we produced 45 screens. Sprint 1 went really well, and in fact, the work went faster and more smoothly than we anticipated. So, way to go, ZIMS team. Now, Elizabeth and her team will spend 1 week testing the 45 screens from Sprint 1.
Sprint 1 is all institution stuff, and the main users of adding institutions and stuff is going to be ISIS staff. So that's why we're doing most of the testing. At the end of Sprint 2 is a lot about taxonomy. So we've got SMEs that are taxonomy experts. My team will still be doing a lot of the testing just because, there's just plain slogging through that you have to do. But we want SMEs to test it, subject matter experts to test it, because they're the ones who have really the business knowledge. So there will be a combination. My team will be doing testing after every sprint. But in addition, we'll have subject matter experts with stuff that pertains to that sprint doing testing as well. And then when all the sprints are done, we'll do a user acceptance test. And that's when I'm going to be recruiting folks from the early adopter institutions like we talked about. And those people will be doing a test of the whole system.
Testing ZIMS is different now under our new development process. In the ZIMS alpha effort, all of ZIMS was to be developed all at once. And then all 1,000 screens were to be tested all at once.
And in order to get through the incredible complexity of ZIMS Alpha in 12 weeks, we needed a huge team of people. And so we had somewhere between 80 and 100 volunteers from all over the world that were going to spend 2 solid weeks doing nothing but hammering on their part of ZIMS. That was going to be a pretty massive effort. The way we're developing ZIMS now with these sprints, at the end of Sprint 1, for example, we have 45 screens to test. And I have a team of, I don't remember how many of us there are, like 6 or something like that. So that's like, 7 screens a person. It's really a very manageable amount to do a very thorough job of testing. That will mean that we can do a better job. We can accomplish testing for that sprint in a single week. It gives the developers a very finite and concrete amount of stuff to fix. And then we're ready to go on to the next sprint. So by chunking it up in these sprints, it's just a lot more manageable. And it means that before we go to user acceptance testing, where we're going to have a wider swath of the community participating, most of the bugs will be worked out. And those people should be seeing very few bugs because it's already been through a round of testing. So instead of doing all of our testing for the whole application in one big, crazed block of time, we're doing small chunks in a small crazed block of time, but getting that accomplished so that by the time all 7 sprints are done, we've got a very well tested, really robust program that goes out to the user community for testing, and they'll be able to test it very quickly because they won't be having to stop every 5 seconds to report a bug.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Well, that's a 5-minute exploration of how ZIMS is being tested at the end of each 6-week sprint. If you want to stay up to date on what's happening in ZIMS development, check out ZIMS blog. Go to www.isis.org and click on the link. ZIMS blog is updated maybe about once a week. And we always appreciate your feedback on how we're communicating to you. So please feel free to make suggestions and ask questions. Email me at jmeyer@isis.org. Thanks for watching ZIMS Podcast.